What's going on, everybody? It's Retro JoJo, and I'm back for another video. Move this mic a little closer, sorry everybody. But I haven't been making very many videos lately, and I'm gonna start trying to make more videos. But to the same token, I've been very busy, So life happens. Sometimes we have to take time for ourselves and take time for our family. And now I'm on a very rigorous workout like routine, trying to gain some muscle, and it makes it boosts the confidence. So just trying to do that and juggle work and juggle family life and everything else that goes along with it, and trying to eat healthier and things like that. So but today I did not get to read the Disturbed comics. I will be doing that still, but I'd rather read it. And I've read the first one, but I don't feel I've read it. I feel like I need to read it again. So with that being said, today I want to talk about something that I recently started becoming interested in, and that would be, if you can't tell, I don't know if it's picking it up, but Stranger Things. I have gotten into Stranger Things. I have watched it before, and I watched season 1 and almost all of season 2. Well, now I'm on season 4, episode 1, and it's getting really good. It's the whole series is good. And season 5 is supposed to come out soon, I believe. I don't know the exact date, but it's a very interesting series. A lot of it kind of relates to how like people think like UFOs might be real, or aliens might be real, or things like that. And how it's back like in, I think, late 70s, if I'm not mistaken, early 80s type of deal. And everything about the show, it encompasses everything that was at that time period. I feel like it's very interesting. The characters keep you intrigued. There's it goes from kids playing D&D. And if you haven't watched the show, watch the show first before you watch this, because I may spoil a couple things. And if you would like to watch it, I would rather you watch it than to listen to me talk about it. If you haven't seen it, then be like, oh man, he ruined it for me. So I just say that at the beginning to get that out of the way. But I recently picked up some Stranger Things like merch. This hat, actually, I'll take it off so you can see the front. It's like Dustin's hat. Hey, Dustin. And it's got something on it, everybody. Had something stuck to it. Hang in there, I'm getting it. That way it's not on there. But I actually got this from my wife, Jessica, when we got back together. We dated in high school. And when we got back together, she bought me this hat. That was the first gift that she gave me. And I used to wear it like this. But what does everybody think? I think I like it now better like that, because you can see the logo on the front, and you're not just looking back at it. You can see it. I don't know. I like it better this way now. But I recently picked this shirt up. It was on a rollback at Walmart, of all things. It was in the box. I think it's for like upcoming season 5 maybe. They're kind of getting a little bit of stuff. They've always had stuff for Stranger Things in there, but seems like maybe they're getting some other stuff, or maybe that's why it's on rollback, because it was from season 4 when season 4 came out. It didn't say which season it was for, so therefore I didn't know. But nonetheless, it's a pretty neat shirt. I mean, for $10, it's got the logo, and it's kind of like this acid wash kind of black. You can't really see that in the video, but I like it. It's comfortable. It's a nice shirt. And I also picked up this, which me and my wife will be using together. It's a Stranger Things tie-dye kit. I didn't know it didn't come with a shirt. I thought it came with one, but if you buy these, they have them at Walmart, and it's got the Netflix logo down here in the bottom corner. It's not really picking that little tiny logo up, but it's got pink, red, yellow, green, and black in it. So you can make your own tie-dye. Never done it before, so I thought that would be fun. You just add water to the powder, I guess, in the bottles, and then you do the dang thing. You just read the directions. That's what you have to do. And I don't think it comes with any lettering like what's on the shirts, but we might can, maybe put, I know that's kind of like a copy. Let me know in the comments how that works. Like if you have a Cricut, how does that work though? I mean, if you're not selling it, I'm assuming that like you could put just the letters, you know what I'm saying? Like to make it look like that. Maybe not to a T, but, or something of the like, you could put something, you could do your own thing with it. It really doesn't matter. It's just a tie-dye kit with the Stranger Things name on it, but I thought it was neat. And I got this minifigure, and I cannot remember for the life of me. I will have to look that up, and I may do a short if I figure out. I cannot remember her name. It slipped my mind right now, but that I got a little, it's like a bag clip or a key clip for Lucas's sister. She was in season 3, and she was really cool in season 3, so I like that. Would have been cool to get my favorite, but I'm not complaining. And then there was this. This is at Walmart also. It's like the Upside Down series, so it's like figures. I've got it open, so I'm holding it on this side. But it's supposed to be kind of like that, it's right side up or something like that. But it's a little TV. And what it does, it has a picture of the character that it comes with inside. I don't think it's going to pick that up. Maybe it will. Oh yeah, you can see it now, and you can kind of move it around. It's pretty cool, and it moves. Really neat. I don't know if this is Vecna, because I just heard about Vecna or not, but it comes with a figure, and I can't get these. I guess they're vines or tentacles or something like that. Haven't watched all of season 4 yet, plan to. It comes with a clock that's the same color as the figure, and this is like translucent. So that's pretty cool. And then he's got, she is, black eyes. I haven't watched it yet, so don't know. I haven't seen that character in the previous 3 seasons, but it also comes with a little pamphlet thing, and it's got all kind of art on the inside of it, and it looks like Mixtape for You 86, which if you know anything about Stranger Things, you know that Jonathan makes Will CDs. It also came with a picture. I don't have it in here with me right now, but it's got a checklist for the other characters that you can get, and then on the other side it's got a little like arcade machine with the Hellfire Club logo for the D&D thing that's in season 4, and then it comes with it's like a little mini game. I guess you scratch them or something. That's pretty cool. And let's see, the checklist 1 through 12 is 11, of course, and then you have Will Byers, Erica Sinclair, Dustin Henderson, Steve Harrington, Argyle, Eddie Munson, Chrissy Cunningham, Demogorgon, Vecna, and then there's 2 more characters that are question marks. So that's pretty neat. Thought it was a neat little pickup, And it was also only $10, so that's not bad. I'm trying to put this back together. Bear with me. It kind of clips into the other thing, and I don't want to rip it. And it's not wanting it. There it goes. But let me put this back up, and we'll continue on. Just want to get this put up. Thought I'd share that with my viewers, that I had picked up some stuff for the show. Uh-oh, I've got this on upside down. Oops. There we go. Now we've got everything put back together. But so, talking about Stranger Things, I have thoroughly, like I said before, I've thoroughly enjoyed the show. It's very, very interesting and very just, it's different. It's something different, I was never into some of the other shows that were on Netflix. Like, I do enjoy The Witcher. Never really watched Game of Thrones. Never really watched Supernatural a whole lot. Never really got into it a whole lot. For this reason or that reason, or maybe just it's not my thing. And like other shows, that were on there, I just didn't really get into a whole lot that were like Netflix originals. But this show's made by the Duffer Brothers, and they're huge. What I love about it, they're huge like Stephen King fans. So like how there's the Upside Down and everything, very Stephen King inspired, and I am digging it. I'm very, very very much digging it. I've started listening to like 70s and 80s music because some of it's in the show, and I think that's very, very cool that, a show made me go back and listen to some really great songs by really great artists and appreciate it. Like I was telling my mom yesterday, that you wouldn't have bands like Disturbed, Korn, uh, just to name a few, or Alice Cooper even. How he did some different sounds later on. Bands like that, Tool, Primus, how there's all kind of different sounds out there in the rock and metal community. You wouldn't have that without the classic rock. From when did rock start? Maybe, I don't know exactly when it started, but like, the stuff you had in the 50s was like, Evil, and then 60s, 70s, and then it was like it picked up, and the pace of the music picks up, and then you have metal come out, and then you had new metal like in the 90s and 2000s and onward, and we wouldn't have those bands if we didn't have the early stuff. Because I like everything music-wise, from Disturbed and Tool and Skillet and things like that, all the way to things like the Carpenters, Pink Floyd, AC/DC, things like that. You wouldn't have the music that we have now if you didn't have the music we had back then, before I even come along. My mom, we were listening to some yesterday, it was interesting. She said, yeah, I listened to that in high school. And I thought, man, like songs like, I don't know, A Monster by Skillet, and A Land of Confusion by Disturbed, or something like that, or even 46 and 2 by Tool. Those were songs I listened to in high school, and I was like, wow, it put things in perspective for me. So that was cool that a show was able to kind of make you appreciate both sides of music again. I was only listening to mainly metal for a long time. The new stuff, well, not new. I don't like to say new, because some of the new music is not my thing. It's not my thing at all. If it's your thing, then that's fine. Don't unsubscribe from me just because I like that kind of, don't really like the new stuff a whole lot. But I like retro, and I like 90s, early 2000s, yeah, into some 2010s. And there's some bands that I like every album they've ever put out. I don't always like, especially if they like use language, I don't always like all of that. But sometimes, like with Disturbed, their message, though, has been just about completely, in my opinion, completely consistent throughout their career. And Tool as well. So it's just some perspective. And then there's some other bands I only like a couple albums from. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. But talking about Stranger Things, I just thought that was interesting, and I would just share my music experience with you guys lately, because I've, everything from Heart to, Pat Benatar, just other, Beatles. I went back and listened to some really good stuff that come out years ago that paved the way for the rock and rollers and the metalheads today. So, it's really neat. But talking about Stranger Things, my favorite characters, I would have to say, would be, my number one is Eleven. I love Eleven. She's, to me, she's the perfect picture of, she was almost like a science experiment that went wrong, from the Hawkins Institute, but then, like, she turned it around for something good. They were, I believe that, their intentions were to use her for like a super weapon, her to be this, maybe they weren't, because, like in first episode of season 4, it looks like he was, Papa, I can't remember his real name, that's what she calls him, was in complete shock, like that she had, all these people were dead. But I haven't watched it enough to know if that was really her, if there's going to be more flashbacks. So I can't say, but you know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I like Eleven so much. And she's strong-willed, and she's strong, and she's, she's kind to everyone, even when they're not really kind to her, unless they're an enemy of her, like the Demogorgons or the Demodogs or the Mind Flayer, or I guess maybe Vecna in this season, and some other characters probably. If they're trying to hurt her or people she cares about, she stands up for them, and I like that about Eleven. So she's my top one. And I would have to say, a shock for number two for sure. Steve Harrington, you know, total moron, total just jock, and not just a jock, but just like a jerk, you know, in the first season. And he's evolved now to realize that none of that really matters. You know, be kind to people and like treat people how you would want to be treated. And he's there for his friends as well. As you know, if you watch the show, you've seen it. Um, and it's just interesting to watch the evolution of his character and him. You know how him and Nancy started out, and then how they weren't together, and then now my third favorite is Jonathan Byers. Just a great character. Um, he's developed, he's grown, he's matured, you know, as a character, and he tried to save, you know, like Elle in the mall very bravely when she was injured from the mind flayer, and I thought that was really cool, you know, because that's gross. Like he had to cut her. Spoiler alert: he had to cut her leg open because a part of it like was in her leg and like it was moving and it was like excruciating pain for her. Because when it grabbed her and picked her up, they cut the tentacle or whatever, proboscis or whatever you want to call it, away from. I guess it would be a mouth tentacle or something, away from her leg, but it I guess implanted a piece of it into her leg, and it was didn't cause pain at first, but then when they got there, it was excruciating for her. You know, it was affecting like I guess how she could use her powers and stuff because she was I don't know exactly how that worked, but she couldn't like move this Coke can. It was really crazy. Um, and Jonathan, you know, goes in there and he's done that more than once. He's proven that he's strong. You know, I mean, he beat Steve Harrington to a pulp within a couple inches of his life, I'm sure. If he would have kept going and not had those cops intervene, it probably wouldn't have ended well for Steve. And Steve had it coming because of the friends in the company that he chose were not that good. You know, and they were writing bad things about Nancy on the movie theater sign. And I like that message that Jonathan stood up for her, and then now they're in love. You know, he was like the hero, you know, that she wanted. He was what he was what she wanted out of Steve, but Steve was never that. And now Steve is about equal with Jonathan. But just how that scene where he had to cut her leg and then he was willing to put his finger down in the wound and pull it out, and she stops him because she could do it better with her mind. But it was just interesting, you know, with like her telepathy or whatever. She has a lot of powers in the show. She can see things, she can move things with her mind. Very interesting. All the experiments and things like that they did on her resulted in that. Number four. Fourth favorite character. I may do 5 or I may do a couple more. There's so many to choose from. And I like Lucas, Dustin, and what's his name? Mike as well. I like all of them. Max, but there's just some top favorites, and this is why the reason why. Oh, and Will's good too. But in my top for number 4 would be it's a surprise for sure. I'm sure it's going to shock some of you that watch Stranger Things, but it would be Billy. And Billy was a good person, but he was abused and he was hurt, and he therefore wanted to hurt other people. And I think that is a good picture in our society today for how bullies are. You know, these parents are, it's not just the kids. I hate it when people say that's just how they are. No, it's not. The parents are choosing to be that way, and then they're that way to their children, and then that transfers over to the child. And then the child is rude to some other child or adult or teenager, and they lash out because they're in pain, so they want to make other people feel that same way. They want somebody to understand them, but they don't. They think they have to be mean to somebody in order to get somewhere. And that's how Billy was. But in the flashbacks at Elsie's and all that stuff, it's revealed that that's the truth. He's really just a hurt person, and hurt people will hurt people. You know, not necessarily maybe physically, but emotionally, how you speak to people, how you talk to people. Those are all factors as well. It doesn't always just have to be a physical altercation type of thing. It can be a mind game. It can be things like that. And that's who he was learning it from, was his stepfather. And it's just really, it was sad. But then the conclusion is why I love him so much of season 3. El frees his mind from the mind flayer, and he gives his life, spoiler alert, so that they might be free and escape, and then when all the other stuff that happens where they destroy the, Soviet facility, or whatever you want to call it, the facility beneath the mall, that these people were conspiring to do bad things. They were gonna, use them as like war weapons, these creatures from this other dimension, and just take over the world. And I think that's very interesting because throughout history, other factions and other nations and things like that have tried this, but not with creatures and stuff, because this is a TV show, remember? This isn't real life. It's a TV show. It's just the way it is. And, everything that was going on back then, like I said, a lot of the stuff fits the time frame. So it's just really interesting. But anyway, I digress on that. I guess I plead the fifth. There's no more I have to say about that. It's just a great show. But Billy giving his life is just it was very heartbreaking to watch him be free and then his life be taken from him. And he gave it freely for his friends. He wanted to give his life for his friends. He wanted his friends to know. Well, they weren't even his friends, I guess, but at that moment they were, because to him, instinctively, he stood his ground in front of this gigantic beast. And it kind of, I don't like to be getting biblical or anything, but it reminds me of kind of a David and Goliath type of thing. Here's this big, giant creature that has caused him so much pain and suffering, and he's standing his ground in front of it. And he's about this big, and then this thing's like, towering over him, and he's not scared a bit, but it took him down, and that's why I like Billy so much. And he's very cool. I love his aesthetic and his look, very much my style, I would say. Just the things that I like. I would say that, I like that. I like a good mix of, I don't like to say nerd, but because a lot of people don't like that term, but nerdy, geeky, gamer, whatever you want to call it. I like all that kind of stuff with a little bit of bad boy. That's always been kind of what I like in my style. So very cool. And that's Billy. So yeah. And I would say number 5, gosh, I'm going to put 2 together here. I may not like it, but you can't have one without the other. And that is Joyce Byers and Jim Hopper. That the dynamic between them is cute. It's funny. It's it's interesting that he was so against Elle being with Mike so much, but then he's always caught up, even if it's something really, really bad, with Joyce. So I always think that's very funny and interesting, and they have a great dynamic. And I actually spoiled something for myself that I wish I wouldn't had. But I thought Hopper was dead, and I was actually really sad. It was a sad moment. There's been a couple of sad moments in there, a couple of tearjerker moments in the show. It's just, Jim is a good guy. He thinks he's not, but he's really a good guy. He's done, maybe, or not done, but he really hasn't done anything wrong other than blame himself for his daughter dying of cancer, and it wasn't nothing nobody could do, and then I guess his wife leaves him is what's implied, and he moves back to where he's from, Hawkins, Indiana, and he has a tragic tale, but a good one now, because everybody's remembering him as this war hero for saving so many lives, from this evil, thing that they don't understand. Nobody understands it really. They don't understand what they're messing with. And I just like that he was willing to give his life. He gives Joyce the okay to turn the switches to destroy the machine. And when they've done it in the first episode of season 3, it sends a shockwave and destroys anything in its path. It's a machine that's trying to tap into the upside down and bring the creatures there. And he was willing to give his life for that. He was willing. He knew the cost. He knew that if they didn't, all of those kids that he really deep down he cared about, and especially his adopted daughter 11, were going to die. Joyce was going to die. I mean, it was just bad. And I find that really interesting, because how many people would really, would be willing to step in front of the line, so to speak, the line of fire for someone else, someone they call their friend, someone dear to them. Not many people. So some people would. I'm not going to say everybody just only cares about themselves, because there are people that really do care about other people. And I myself try to be one of those people. I do care about other people. I'm not just about me. I want to be, a light to other people, instead of, just only showing them the drab and the sad. Yes, you're going to have sad moments in life. You're going to have sad things happen in life. You're going to have sadness. It's just part of life. You're going to make mistakes, and you're going to blame yourself for those mistakes. But it's not okay to always be that way. So it's good to be happy sometimes, I find now. And I went through a lot of different, I don't even call them fads, because I still like a lot of the style from it. And I had friends that were, I had all kind of friends. I had friends that were from all kind of different walks of life. Goth and emo, and just the list goes on. Country, whatever you want to call it. People put people in so many categories, but streetwear or whatever. That's what they like. That's what they like. But they're my friend, and I didn't judge people based on that. Yes, I did start kind of going more towards one than the other, because I got rejected by some of the. I wasn't in the in crowd, I was always the weird kid. And I feel like, that's why I sympathize with a lot of the characters in Stranger Things, because they may not be normal, but that's not a bad thing. You got to be I believe everyone should be their self, and everyone should be true to their self. And Jim definitely is, but he has his own issues, and that's why I like it, because him as a character, and him and Joyce. I mean, Joyce has a lot of issues. This has really messed up her mind, all the stuff that happened, and losing Will in the first season and everything. So just to kind of give some perspective, I just relate all 5 of those main characters to, I guess, to myself a little bit. That's kind of how I look at it. I know it's fake. It's not real. It's Hollywood. It's made by the Duffer Brothers. It's written and produced by them. It's not real. I get that. And so far, Eddie's been a cool character too. He's pretty cool. All the characters are really well written in the show. I was just given a couple that I really, 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 really like a lot. But to the same token, yeah, all of them are really great, and how they did everything, and it's just a great show. And if you haven't watched it, I recommend it. I enjoyed it, and it's not that bad as far as some people can't stand any language or whatever. There is some in it, but not incessantly. Just over and over and over and over, one word right after the other. It's really good. There's smoking and things like that, but those aren't important. The story is what's important, And the Duffer Brothers did an excellent job doing Stranger Things, and I hope that they continue with season 5. They're saying that's going to be it for the conclusion, but who knows? It may not. They might. Who knows? We don't know. But I can't wait to see what's next. And I guess I'm going to kind of end it off. I'm rambling a little bit. But it's been great recording a new video for everyone, and I hope everyone stays safe, and everybody's safe and everybody has a great evening. Or day, whichever time you watch this. Forgot to say morning or evening.